Welcome to the Vanilla to Vixen podcast. This show contains adult content, so if you are under 18 or easily offended, please switch off now. Mr. and Mrs. N are not qualified relationship counsellors. This show is for entertainment purposes only. Now the disclaimer is out of the way, sit back, relax, and enjoy our journey from Vanilla to Vixen.
Welcome to episode 109 of Vanilla to Vixen. We are your hosts, Mr. and Mrs. N, and we're also known as
the Naughty Couple.
Here we are all over again.
Oh, has it been a week already?
I know, it doesn't feel like it, does it? So much is happening.
It's been a busy one.
It's been incredible. Firstly, I've got to say the response to our festival announcement.
I know.
So V2V Wonderland, the festival that's taking place on the 1st till the 3rd of August.
2025.
Yeah, not till 2025. Got a whole year to wait. But the response was just absolutely amazing.
It has been amazing.
So the tickets go on sale on the 1st of October through Liberty Elite.
Yes.
So you'll have to give Liberty Elite a call on their phone number. That'll be in the programme notes.
Yep.
But not until the 1st of October.
No. And we will be giving you some more information as the weeks go on.
Absolutely. We've got so much happening. It's so exciting.
It is.
It's like a big night out. It's... talking of nights out.
Yes.
Did I tell you about Doris and Betty?
No.
Who went on a night out. Two women went on a night out, and on the way home from the night out, they decided they needed a wee, and the only place to have a wee was in the cemetery.
Right.
They got caught short. They couldn't help themselves.
I'm sure there's lots of ladies out there that can...
Exactly. So they needed a wee in the cemetery, which wasn't ideal, but not having any paper, they had to just kind of use their undies and throw them away.
Right.
Okay, so
yeah,
that was it. That's all they could do. And the next day, the husbands were walking down the road, and one says to the other, he says, my Betty, he says, I'm a bit worried what's going on at home. He says, she came home last night after a night out and she had no knickers on. And Frank went, he says, that's nothing. He says, Doris come home. He said, and she had a card in the crack of her arse, and it said, we'll never forget you from the boys at the fire station.
That's brilliant.
There you go.
Oh, bless you. I think you've excelled yourself, Mr. N.
Doris and Betty, we'll see you.
Doris and Betty, yes.
We'll see you. And talking of other shout-outs, we have got to give a shout-out this week to Longliner.
Right.
He's a single guy, Longliner, on Fab Swingers, and he's an avid listener to the show, and all he wanted was a shout-out.
So big shout-out to you, honey bun.
Absolutely. If you want a shout-out, just send it in and we'll do it. We don't mind.
Yes, and thank you for listening.
Absolutely. Now, on this week's show, I really am excited.
I know.
Genuinely excited. We've got an amazing couple who are truly inspirational, and they're across the water.
They are.
In Northern Ireland.
Over the channel.
They are known as Dirk and Mrs.
Yes.
That's it, just Mrs.
She's just the Mrs.
Dirk and Mrs. And they run, they're very busy people, and they run a website called Swingable Me.
Yeah.
Which we want to hear all about. And Hungry Cat Promotions.
Yes.
So that they do lots of things. It's all relating to the swinging lifestyle and the naughty hobby and all sorts of shenanigans.
We're going to find out all about it, aren't we?
Yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed that we couldn't get them over here.
I know.
In the green room, in the shed.
In the shed.
A little bit disappointed, but I'm very excited to hear how the lifestyle differs over the pond in Northern Ireland.
Exactly.
I mean, obviously with Northern Ireland, they have very strong cultural links to religion, and things probably, it would be fair to say, are not as liberal as over in the mainland.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair comment. So I don't know, I could be wrong.
You could be wrong.
Who knows? So why don't we just give them a call and find out exactly what's happening over there?
Let's do it.
So, joining us now, Dirk and Mrs.
All the way
from Northern Ireland.
Northern Ireland.
We cannot wait to hear about your adventures, guys. And you've had such a roller coaster up and down. So, first question we always usually start with, how did you get into the monkey business?
Well, I'll let Mrs. go first. She's been in the lifestyle a lot longer than I have.
I am a veteran. I joined the swinging community when I was 18 years old, bright and young. But that was in Lithuania. So over many, many years, I've been dipping in and out of it, and mostly out of it through vanilla relationships. And finally, once I matured and I said enough of the vanilla, I was, I think, 26, 27 when I rejoined the community properly, and haven't looked back since.
How did you kind of get into it in the first place? Did somebody introduce you to it, or was it a fascination?
So a friend of mine was in the community, and he was like, oh my God, I have so many friends. It's so lively. It's so social. I go to parties all the time. And now by parties, he never said like, we're doing orgies every other weekend. It was, we're going out, we're going there, like we're traveling to a city 3 hours away just to have a party and then come back. Like, you know, it was all friendship based. So I kind of slipped into that circle and made lots of friends who I'm actually still friends on Facebook now. 17 years later.
Lithuania is very much more social orientated, and it's more friendly, and people actually have more of a connection. It's not sort of a meet for sex situation, you know.
There is those situations as well, but the circles that I was in was mostly social, and then if people wanted to play, there's playrooms, you go out, go away and play. It was never seedy. It was never like, right, who's fucking? Let's fuck. You know, like, it was always good banter. We're going out for a dance, we're going out for a few drinks, and meeting as many people as we possibly can. Basically, what we're doing now here.
And obviously, you're a married couple now. So, how did you broach that subject when you met your partner and said, "Oh, by the way, I'm a swinger," or I've participated in the naughty hobby?
Yeah.
Well, we're not actually married.
Okay.
No. We met 5.5 years ago. I had come out of a marriage, and I had started to look after myself again. I had decided I was going to go to a gym and work out and sort of build a new me. And my marriage had been vanilla. Any relationship that I'd ever had been vanilla, but I think it has always kind of been in the back of my mind. And when I got out of my marriage, and I'm still very good friends with my ex-wife, by the way, you know, so there was nothing untoward. There was no reason why we broke up. We just drifted apart. But it was actually, and I'm going to actually thank my my personal trainer, who's a female. I went to the gym one night and she was asking me, you know, how's Tinder going? How's Plenty of Fish going? Are you having loads of fun? And I was saying, you know, it's okay, but, you know, it's very disappointing. So she had said, Dirk, why don't you just go on to Fab Swingers? And I had never heard of Fab Swingers. So obviously I said, you know, what's Fab Swingers? She says, just go on Fab Swingers. She didn't tell me it was, well, obviously the name gives it away, but she didn't tell me the ins and outs. She said, go on Fab Swingers, you'll thank me later. And the following week, I was at my first sex party.
Wow.
Everybody now is just like, I'm signing up for personal training.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next week after that, I was high-fiving her. I was like, yay.
So
But yeah.
how did that then move on to you and Mrs. becoming a couple?
So yes, Dirk chased me for about 6 months.
Well, I had already been on Fab roughly a year and a bit before we met. And we actually met at a social event. And we kind of just sort of said hello briefly. And did we even say hello?
No, we did not.
Did we not?
No.
No.
You just fancy the pants off me.
Okay, well,
And asking me, like, are you going to go out with me? Are you going to go out with me? And I was like, no, who are you? And yes, there was another social event happening where it was a charity coffee social that I attended. And we all decided to post our location because we were just like having a few pints and Witherspoons. And I posted our location saying, like, anybody who wants verified, join in, whatever. And he came over like a shot and he was like,
So we spoke, and then I think actually it was another 6 months after that.
No.
Was it not? So it was 6 months between.
6 months between we seen each other at an event, and then
Okay, I get you now.
and then until we actually spoke.
And actually, our first one-on-one social, I took you ice skating.
Yeah.
We went ice skating for our first social.
This is a date. This is proper dating.
Yes.
It was a proper date, and I like a gentleman, I dropped her home. And as soon as she was about to get out of the car, she turned to me and kissed me, and I was like, "Oh, right, okay." And then she didn't want to go home; she wanted to go to my house instead.
Oh.
You see how everyone has perceptions as swingers, and everyone thinks we're all at like sex parties and everything, and really, people just go skating.
Well, I say, at least you guys got to have a proper date. Our first date was in a car. In a
this is
car
true.
park.
Was there anyone else watching?
It wasn't that type of car park. I hasten to add.
No, to be fair, like, our date started with ice skating and ended up with butt fucking. So,
Oh well, cancel my last statement.
Yeah.
It's swinging as well.
and then I carried you down the stairs.
Oh, she did, yeah.
As you do.
Well, she's quite well built, and she wanted to prove that she was strong, So, she put me on her back and carried me down the stairs, and I thought, okay, then she's a keeper.
Or rather, you were the keeper because she was carrying you off.
Well, there we go.
You were not going
Butt
anywhere.
sex was good.
This is brilliant.
So just for the listeners that are not sort of familiar with how the naughty hobby works over in Northern Ireland, give the listeners a bit of a background to what is the scene like over there.
And what was it like at that time when you?
Okay. That's a very good question. So about 5 years ago when we only met, the scene was actually very, very conservative, and there was everybody was very timid and closed down. Like, I was one of the first women in Belfast who had their face picture on show on a Fab profile.
Wow.
And the only reason I've done that was because I got blackmailed by somebody, and they were like, I know who you are. I'm going to tell everybody that you're this dirty swinger. And I was like, no, you're not. You're not going to tell anybody. I'm going to tell everybody myself. So I posted my face picture.
Good for
I was
you,
like,
girl.
"Ah."
Good for you.
Brilliant.
We are doing a virtual high five across the water
We are.
to you because, good for you.
So that's how it all started. But like people's attitudes were absolutely weird. In forums and like from talking to people, a lot of them would be like, I will never invite a fabber to my house. My children live there. Like, as if it's some kind of a taboo, as if a fabber is not a person, just a regular person.
Yeah.
So we're like, if I bumped into a fabber that I've met before, I would cross the street so I just don't have to say hello to them. Or there used to be a common misconception of, if you have a face picture up, that means that you're not discreet, and people are gonna see me with you and then think that I'm a swinger too, which like those kind of attitudes were really weird to me.
Yeah.
Like, like swingers are people too, and they're normal people. Like not everybody's constantly shagging.
It's quite shocking, isn't it? It's almost like swinging is a disease that other people could catch.
100%. Now, it has changed a lot, especially in the last couple of years since we started marching in Pride.
We started marching in Pride. We started doing bigger socials. We now have a daily group chat on Telegram. We used to use Kick. I don't know if you guys still would use Kick.
We used to use Kick, and then you just got sick of all the adverts. Everybody got fed up with it.
The ads, and also it wasn't very stable at times.
Yeah.
So we moved to Telegram, and that now allows us to have bigger groups. And we have a daily chat group at the minute. As of today, there's 240 in it.
Wow.
Yeah, and they just chat day in, day out, and it's crazy because if you put your phone down for 2 or 3 hours and go back, there's like 1,000 unread messages, and it's just it actually is it's too much for some people, so they just sort of back off and watch instead of joining in all the time.
Yeah,
it's one of those things where if you were at work, you wouldn't get any work done.
We are responsible for a lot of skiving.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of employers out there who actually hate us.
But the thing is, people have established really, really strong friendships and connections, and they don't, at this point, they don't even look at Fab that much because they know that within the group and people who come to our events, they know that they've been verified, they have been vetted, they know that creeps will be very quickly dismissed and blocked. So they trust the people within that circle rather than open the messages and go, wanna fuck.
See, you've kind of created a real hub for people who are genuinely into the naughty hobby, as we call it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So was the thinking behind doing that because there wasn't anything out there for you guys in the beginning? So was that kind of your sort of reasoning to say, look, we need to set something up because there's nothing out there for people?
So the main thing for us in Northern Ireland is giving people that sense of privacy, yet also giving them the sense where they can express themselves freely in a safe environment, because people here they didn't have a lot of trust when they went out to socials. They didn't feel safe. And we have been around a few venues now, and we've actually this last 2 years found a venue that is a sex positive venue, and even at our socials they'll permit us to dress down.
Okay.
Because the space is ours. We do a lot of our socials during the day, because we hire a nightclub that is closed during the day. You could never take it any other time because obviously it's open to the public. So we hire it during the day from 3 o'clock to maybe 9, half 9. And they can come in there and it's totally private. There's not even security staff in it.
There is security staff if we need them.
They'll do the odd walkthrough. Generally, they're kept out of the meat.
Obviously, your community's so friendly that you don't need security, do you? Because it's not like open to. This is difficult sometimes for vanilla people to understand that. Obviously, we have the similar thing over here is clubs, and you don't need security in the clubs like you would in a nightclub because it's just not our mentality.
But swingers know that if they do cross a line, that's pretty much it for them.
Yeah.
Because although it is a big community, it's quite a tight-knit community, and usually there's someone who will know someone who knows someone who has done something wrong. And news like that usually travels very fast. So you don't want to end up in that situation where you maybe have crossed a line and next minute everyone knows about it.
Yeah.
So it's a self-policing community. I think
it is a good way of looking at it. I think you're quite right, because I think, and especially for us, when we hold our events and things, and the team that we have that work with us and help us to do those events, they look out for people as well. So you've always got, it's almost like a swingers code. You've got each other's backs, haven't you?
Yes.
You're always looking out for each other, making sure that you're okay. And
everybody pretty understands the etiquette really well. And But also as well, I think in that environment, we're also happy that there isn't the usual issues and judgments.
No.
We have a little motto at Liberty Elite at our club, and we say, leave your judgment at the door. And,
Exactly.
And it's so much nicer, and it creates such a nicer environment to be in.
Yeah. And I mean, if you were to go out in any city in the UK, you're to a vanilla venue or a night out in a pub, you're always going to have someone having a problem with race, religion, gender, whatever it is.
Football.
Football,
Yeah.
So right. And how ridiculous it sounds when we say it.
I know.
There's someone wearing a different football shirt and it's instant, confrontation.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
And when you go to a swingers event, that's all left at the door.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
No.
Yeah.
No, just like our main rule is like, don't be a dick.
Yeah.
I love that.
Don't be a dick.
I love that.
Don't be a dick, just use your dick.
I actually have a book. I'll try not to be a dick.
So yeah, that's pretty much how the Northern Ireland scene is. There will always be people, because Northern Ireland's very small. If you imagine a city the size of Glasgow, which has just over 2 million people,
Yeah.
Northern Ireland has just over 2 million people.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah. So that kind of puts
it into perspective quite a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, on the whole thing. Do you often get people over in Northern Ireland who travel to mainland UK to visit clubs? Do you hear of
Yes.
that? Okay.
Absolutely, all the time.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Basically, it's because nobody's going to know them. And nobody's going to recognise them probably or carry tails back.
Yeah.
For me, that would be the number one.
Yeah.
Secondly, it's about being able to go to a sex club or a swingers club and actually have sex, because here you just can't do it.
Yeah.
There are plenty of sex parties that happen, but it's in hired Airbnbs, apartment blocks, that sort of stuff. So it does happen, but it just has to always happen under the radar.
Yeah.
How quickly has your group grown? Obviously, you didn't start with 200 people.
We didn't plan to have a group at all. Whenever we were on Kick, we would create a group chat for upcoming events. We used to do it a month before an event. Then we kind of cut it to 2 weeks, because in a month people become overly familiar, and then they let themselves go and bickering starts or whatever. Now and then you would have those issues. So we cut it for 2 weeks, and then since we moved to Telegram, we realized that there is no limit to the group. That you can have up to 200,000 members in the group. So
the whole of Northern Ireland.
We can have all of the swingers in the UK in one group.
So we kind of created a group for an event, and we just kept it. So that was like a first event this year, which was March. And we just kept it because before that we were on Kick, but we were limited to 100 people. And then you'd have people going like, can I be added to the group? And then be like, no, we're full. And they'd be like, would you not create another group? And I was like, no, because don't want to have 10 people sitting in that group. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So it was all no. But since we moved to Telegram, it's just been a permanent fixture.
Yeah.
So
I would just actually people randomly message us asking, I hear you have a Telegram group, can we join?
That's amazing.
But it is phenomenal how quickly word of mouth gets passed around, and then all of a sudden more people, start hearing about it and say, hang on a minute, I want to be part of that. That sounds really cool. So you mentioned that you have entertainers at your social. So what sort of entertainers do you go for?
We would have anything from fire breathers, hoop dancers, people hanging from the ceiling on silks.
Human pincushions.
Human pincushion, that's an interesting one.
Okay.
Yeah, so they would stick needles through themselves and stuff. I know that sounds a bit crazy, but it's actually very, very interesting. We have had shibari.
Yeah.
That's really
full
cool.
rope suspensions.
Pole dancers, burlesque dancers.
Right down to strippers, like, you know,
Everything.
we've had
We had strippers too, like
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Absolutely everything. Obviously professional people who do know what they're doing. So just to break the ice. So in my head, a perfect social has 6 components to it.
Okay.
First of all, the music can't be too loud so people can talk to each other.
Yeah.
You can never have enough seats for everybody. You want people to be standing up and actually mingling.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you put down enough seats for everybody to sit down, they just sit down and they never move anywhere.
And
So
they
true.
cut themselves off,
They
don't
do,
they?
yeah,
They
so
cut themselves
true.
off.
They do.
Yeah, so true.
And then you get newbies coming and seeing everybody sitting down and they're like, oh my God, everybody's in the clique. Nobody's going to want to talk to me.
Yeah.
So we just removed the seats.
That's a very
Sounds
good
like-
point. It's a very good point.
There
Matt.
was, there was actually several people after last Saturday's event had said that they felt that nobody made an effort with them, right? And this is, we hear this all the time, especially from other people's socials too. And you're like, don't expect everyone else to make the effort with you. You know, you have to make the effort. You have to go and say hello to people. It doesn't take much just to say hello.
Exactly.
My name's Dirk.
Yeah.
You know, that's all it takes, and you've created the basis of a conversation. But people don't realise that.
You can't. Yeah, you can't. You can't expect everybody else to do the work for you.
No.
You've got to put a bit in
Oh,
yourself.
Of course you have. Yeah.
So back to the perfect social points. So number 3, I would say entertainment to break the ice so people have something to talk about. Because if you give them something spectacular to see, that gives them a reason to go over to somebody that they might fancy and go like, oh, here, did you like that dancer or whatever? Like, you know, they have certain talking point instead of coming up to somebody and going like, you want to meet?
Yeah.
You want to meet?
Yeah.
Directness, you never know. It might win.
And then number 4 would be the games. Like we do always play some kind of games.
Yeah, some kind of risque.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wet t-shirt competitions would be a
Wow.
naughty jack.
Yay.
Would be like, you know,
Naughty Jenga. That's a new one. You should try that sometime.
Naughty
So-
Jenga.
Okay, you need to give me
Yeah,
the rules
so-
of this game.
You get all of your Jenga blocks and you write dares on all of the blocks, and
Okay.
you build your Jenga tower. And when someone pulls a block out, then they have to do the dare that's on the.
Oh,
the
that
Jenga.
is cool. I like that.
Yeah, this could be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, we might have to steal that one.
You can have it.
Bless you.
Yeah. What else have we done?
we've done loads. We've done the stocking on the face.
Oh,
That
yeah,
was hilarious.
Yeah, so you would get like 3 guys on stage or whatever, or 3 girls, whatever. And
Guys.
mostly guys. And you would put like women's stocking down over their head, right down.
Yeah.
And then women have to pull it like that, and the faces get squished against the stockings, and they make the most horrendous faces,
It's
when the
sex
stockings are
faces.
Yeah. Basically anything to break the ice. And what you find is most people are quite willing to get up. I was always sort of thinking, nobody's going to want to do that. No one's going to be brave enough to get on the stage in front of 100, 150 plus people and do that. But I'm telling you, like, they really are. They're good to go. I
think you have much more courageous people in social situations in Northern Ireland than we do over here.
I'd agree with that. I definitely agree with that.
We put that down to the fact that they feel safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
And that's always...
how often do you guys do your socials? Is it every month or?
Oh, it depends. So the first year that we started, we actually organised our first social 3 months after we met.
Wow.
So that was our project of a fresh relationship.
And the small, it was like, 50, 60 people?
75.
Oh, was it?
Wow.
Oh, my God.
So
She remembers everything. I'm like, she calls me the goldfish.
As women,
I'm the goldfish.
I'm afraid as women do remember everything, honey.
Too poor, so we thank you, Magic. And then obviously the COVID hit, so we only had one event in 2020, which was it was really, really ironic because we were meant to have an event in March, at the start of March, and everybody had their tickets and everyone was ready to go, and then the lockdown hit. So we gave people the option of whether they wanted a refund, or did they want to keep the ticket and then just go to the next social?
Yeah.
Most people kept their ticket. I don't know why, but we held on to that money for about a year.
Oh, bless.
But then at the end of the year, the lockdown was lifted, and there was obviously the social distancing rules and 6 per table, and you could do this but couldn't do that. We did adhere to all the rules that were there and done a wee social for about 40 people, just to those who held on to the tickets.
Yeah.
And yes, and then the third year, between 2021 and 2022, I unfortunately got breast cancer, so we've only done 3 little socials.
Oh, bless you. Okay.
Oh, I'm perfectly fine now.
So
that's another thing actually that we'll touch on. After she had breast cancer, obviously she had body changes and things, which sort of impacted our swinging life a wee bit too, didn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I lost a breast.
She lost a breast.
bless you. How did that affect your confidence? And you thought
losing a breast was absolutely fine. I was perfectly grand with it. Now, because I had to go on to many different hormone treatments and everything else, and I gained a lot of weight. Now, that really obviously affected my confidence, and still is messing with my head, but I'm kind of looking past it. I know what I'm worth, and I know the people around me who care about me, so I don't really... Yes, it's uncomfortable to tie the shoelaces, but that's pretty much it.
Bless you. Well, that's just, honestly, that's inspirational to hear you talk that way.
But we got so much support from the community.
Yeah.
Through the whole journey, we got so much support from the community. It was overwhelming. The support and the help that people gave us, and all of those people to this day still come to our events. They still support us, and you don't hide the fact that people always sort of, how do you say, they kind of tiptoed around it, whereas you really didn't. You just pushed it out there. I mean, straight after she had her breast removed, she put pictures on Fab.
Oh, yeah.
That's amazing.
That is absolutely amazing.
As soon as the stitches, as soon as the plaster and everything came off, I was having a bath and was like, yeah, selfie.
That's amazing. That is so inspirational.
But I can imagine that, you doing that, the effect that's had on other women that have been in a similar situation with us. I mean, I know we've had people contact us regarding our events who've said, I've had breast cancer, I've had one removed, I'm a little bit self-conscious, do you think I'll be okay? And it's like, yes, because people, it's not that people don't care, because they do care obviously about what you've been through, but they don't care.
We've had guys who've had operations and have been left with really big scars.
Yeah.
And they've been kind of afraid to, because they know that in our spa room and that they'll be removing their tops and things. And it's like, honestly, no one's looking, no one cares. Everyone's having too much of a good time.
Exactly.
I actually discovered a lot of ladies who had the breast cancer themselves who came to me, and some of them were very respectable event organisers too, and they were like, look, life goes on, you'll be grand. And there's her standing there with a beer and a cigarette, and she's like, it's fine. I was like, yes, I want to be that.
But yeah, also one of the first people I ever played with on Fab was a lovely lady, and she actually had said to me just before we played that she said, look, I've had breast cancer and I've had one removed. Just, I'm just warning you. And I said, there's no need to warn me. Like, I'm fine. Like, you're a beautiful human being. Like, nothing has changed just because you've lost a breast,
Yeah.
And again, we're still great friends with that lady today.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I think we've said this many times, that the most sexiest thing a person can have is not looking like David Beckham or Angelina Jolie or anything. Is the confidence, isn't it? It's confidence, big smile, a giggle, and that is so much sexier than absolutely any physical particular look, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So anyway, back to socials then.
The question was how often. So they weren't very often the first 3 years because of reasons.
Yeah.
But now last year, I think we had 7 events, and then this year
It's going to look like about 9 probably by the time we're finished.
9 or 10.
7 planned, but it's probably going to look like about 9 because people are now asking us, will we do this? Will we do that? And we're like, oh, where can we squeeze it in? You know, can we go another one into November? Can we do that? Because we did a karaoke. We did a kinky karaoke one time.
Kinky karaoke.
Kinky karaoke. And we absolutely loved it. See, to be honest, we started the night and we thought, me and her are going to be singing all night here. Nobody's going to want to sing. Right? By 1 o'clock in the morning, we were literally pulling the microphone off people. You know, it's time to go.
And the reason it was called kinky karaoke because everybody was singing karaoke in one part of the bar, and there was St Andrew's Cross with people slapping the ass of each other in the next wee room behind it.
Yeah, we did. One of our first venues, that was a girl owned it, and she was happy enough. We own a St Andrew's Cross. I was one of my lockdown projects. I made this goddamn massive St Andrew's Cross.
Brilliant.
It is a piece of furniture. It doesn't fold up. It doesn't. I have to literally hire a van to get it to the venue.
What I need to know is when kinky karaoke, were they slapping to the beat of the record?
Yeah, you could hear it. Yeah, you could
hear it.
You know, I was just a bit concerned. Like if Cotton Eye Joe was on, that's pretty fast. As compared
well,
to
I'm sure it just wasn't slapping going on.
Yeah.
I want to know what your go-to karaoke song is, you two.
Shallow.
Oh yeah. And from now on, from The Greatest Showman, that would be my signature piece.
Yeah.
They're two pretty slow songs. That'd be slow slapping to those.
There was another question actually with you talking about, you know, that kinky side up. One thing I wanted to ask you is, so at your social events, do you get people from the fetish scene as well as the swingers there?
That's a really interesting question, and it's something we were just talking about today. Yes, we do. We actually try to promote it and push it through FetLife also. The problem that we have discovered recently is they're both two very different mindsets.
Yes.
It's
a lot of kinksters aren't swingy, while a lot of swingers are kinky.
That's
so
exactly the same as over here.
Yeah.
I mean, up until a couple of years ago, we were told almost by people that were much more experienced than us, people that own clubs, and they used to say sort of swinging and fet do not mix. And if you put swingers and fet in one room, the room will be separated within 20 minutes. But it has kind of, we've found that people are joining together more, especially from the swinging side. I think the swinging side tend to kind of like dip in a little bit more.
They like to explore the more of the fetish side on different levels as well, rather than it just be purely fet.
They're far more open-minded to trying new things and pushing those boundaries. But we find with people from the fetish community is that they're very set in their boundaries and there's no movement on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So true.
Some people, like, which I really, really respect about kinksters is they are all about consent. They're all about playing by the rules. They're all about making things as safe as possible. So to them, it's like there's very little movement in what they do without confirming it first. So it's always like, do you consent to this? Do you consent to that? And like, it's always, everything is so strictly by the book.
Yeah. Whereas we kind of live in the moment, go with the flow.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Fingers be like,
yes, we do have our boundaries. You know, as a couple, you have your boundaries. As a couple, we have our boundaries.
Yeah, I think swingers have almost like a sort of fascination towards the fet side, don't they? That there is that kind of intrigue, and I want to look at that a little bit more and find out a bit more about it.
Yeah, absolutely. We have found that any time we do bring a St Andrew's Cross or bring a load of toys to an event, that's where people spend most of their time.
Yeah.
there's like literally a queue to use the cross.
Yeah.
I remember the first time that I spoke to somebody who was, I suppose, quite experienced and a dom in the fet scene, and I very naively went up to them and said, "Oh, you must have been so kind of pleased with 50 Shades of Grey and what it's done for the fet scene." Yeah, obviously you yourselves as experienced realise what a naive thing that was to say, because in the book and the film, and I just got this, bless her, she was very, very kind.
She didn't slap you.
She didn't attach me to the cross or anything and go, "You blithering fool." She was just, she was very kind, and she was like, "No, because in the film, consent wasn't used." And so they, everybody absolutely hated it who was genuinely in the fet scene, and I found that absolutely fascinating, and it was a very quick learning curve of the etiquette. We'd been in the swinging scene for a few years, but then we realised that obviously in the fet scene, that level of control, that level of etiquette has to be so much higher.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, it goes beyond the physical body. It's based so much more on the mental side of things too. You're mentally given over that control, and that takes a lot, and it takes a lot of trust. And for that to happen, there has to be those boundaries and those rules. And it didn't portray that in the film.
Yeah, it's so true, and it goes to show. Again, anybody sort of listening now, where when we always say porn is so different to swinging and to real life play situations.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
And I suppose, it just goes to show how different Hollywood is, and Hollywood's idea of the fetish scene with 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah.
Just what a world apart it is from real life.
Though a little side note there, like it's actually really funny the way you see every other person. Like there was for about 3-4 years, every other person was Mr. Grey in 1999, Mr. Grey 2000,
Yeah.
Mr. Grey.
I think it certainly did, didn't it? It did bring fet into the public domain, and hopefully everybody like myself did get educated pretty quickly that that's actually shit.
It's romanticized.
Yes.
Yeah,
Very much so.
Yeah.
Although, like, I do have to express disappointment because there was a few Mr. Greys that I met because obviously, like like you do get in. At every stage of your life, you do want to experience different things, and I got into kind of wanting to experience that kink and see if this is my thing or not. And then, like, you do end up like having sex with this guy, and like he's like, "Oh my god, I'm so dominant," and then like he slaps your ass once, and he's like, "Yeah, see how dominant I am," and you're like, "Really?" You're so kinky. Yay.
Absolutely. When a real dom can stand there and say absolutely nothing, and show absolute dominance, that is so true.
It is, isn't it?
That is
But then it's
true.
so hard to find out which one is actually the real one and which one's not.
Yeah.
Until you actually meet them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
I obviously, as a guy joining Fab, I initially seen people putting themselves forward as doms, and I thought, well, maybe I would like that. I think is there any guys, do you think, who have not thought themselves a bit dominant? I think it's just in a guy's nature to think, oh, I'm the man, I'm going to do a bit of slapping, I'm going to do that. I think a lot of guys go through that thing where they're, yeah, I can do that. And I was one of them. Like I was like, yeah, I'm gonna try this dom sub thing, Yeah. And I did, and I thought, like, I'm good at this until I met her.
And I turned you down the stairs, darling.
That is so true. My sort of first public fetish event, we went along, and it was at Liberty Elite, and I remember, and we've been into Liberty Elite so many times, obviously in swing scenarios, and Liberty Elite is a club that is literally almost split into two clubs. So the first time we went into the fetish event, and it's a big room, and I sat there, and I remembered it took me right back to our first visit. I sat there like a little puppy dog.
Yeah.
on this stool, watching the mistress and everything. And
He was sweating. Let me tell you, he was absolutely sweating.
oh my God. And yeah, I don't think I could have acted Dom in that moment if you'd have offered me £1 million.
I suppose the idea of being Dom compared to the reality of being a Dom is very, very different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It is a lot of effort.
I think anyone can act it, but you have to be, if you're going to act it, you have to be a very good actor.
Yeah.
You know, and you have to have rehearse it somewhat to a degree. I think, you know, you have to get yourself in that mindset. You know, if you're going to have a Dom sub scene, and maybe someone's coming around to your house and it's for an hour, you probably at least spend an hour before that just getting yourself into that psyche, into that mindset. You know, it's not something for me that just comes on. It's not something natural for me. It's something that has to be thought about. You know, and in your sort of personality, it's like your alter ego.
I quickly discovered, obviously in my real life, I had quite a bit of responsibility and management, and I mean that's carried on now, even in my new role, working at Liberty Elite. So I found myself then kind of, when going into the play zone, so to speak, I wanted to relinquish that. I wanted to so I found it more fun just being the little sub sitting there on the stool.
I don't think I've ever tried being submissive. Have I?
You've been tied up a few times.
Tied up, but not actually in the act. Like, you know, I haven't actually.
I have dribbled some wax on you, and
I don't really enjoy being tied up, and you know. But
no, but look, you enjoy taking it up your bum. So.
Have you guys tried?
There we go.
We've reached the level.
Yeah, we're high-fiving you again. Don't worry.
It always circles back to the bum sex.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you guys tried sensation play and the sort of gentleness of sensation play and all that?
Oh, I keep asking him for it.
He's probably too busy taking it up the bum, wasn't he?
I must send my dad the link to this podcast.
So I'm interested to know, since you guys have been together, I know obviously you've had things that have happened throughout your relationship, which has put things on hold for a while and whatever, but how has your swinging relationship, how has it changed? How has your dynamics changed?
We actually keep our swinging life very private from our sort of outward appearance. Like, all of our verifications on our profile are all social verifications.
Yeah.
The people we play with, we keep that to ourselves, because it's, if we were to start disclosing who we played with, there's people who might go, "Oh, you played with them, you know, can we play with you too?" You know, and we feel like we can't play with everybody, you know.
No, I totally get that. I totally get that and understand that.
Yeah.
We were too late for that. We literally have one profile and that's it. But I totally understand and where you're coming from, and I'm sure listeners would understand why you do that, because
it's because there's so many people who would say, like, "Do you want to play?" and would like send us offers, and just to keep the peace and because we care so much about the community as a whole, we don't want to piss anybody off or upset anybody or make them feel rejected or anything.
But everybody in this lifestyle has the right to disappear off to the playroom and play privately with people.
Yeah.
And so why shouldn't you, even though you're public figures within the lifestyle, you're public figures, but you still deserve that privacy to be able to play privately with people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and we don't do show or kiss and tell kind of thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We are very private. We do play with people. We don't broadcast who we play with. If they want to tell people, that's fine. We're not going to say no, we didn't. You know.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting point that you make, actually, which we've never ever covered on the podcast. I'd like to cover now. That a lot of the social media sites, such as Fab, Spicy Match, Swing Up, they all have a verification system.
Yeah.
It's called different things. And I suppose that we don't talk about how to really use that verification system with a level of maturity. And I suppose because it's been going for years and years and everyone says, oh yeah, I met them, they were great in the bedroom or whatever. But you don't have to leave a verification in that way to necessarily say that you disappeared off to a playroom with someone. No. You can just give them a review without saying that you played with them. And it's probably worth thinking about when we're writing verifications. I'm totally guilty of it ourselves.
Yeah.
We're guilty of it where we'll go, yeah, they were great, they were hot.
Yeah. I believe also that you can leave a bad verification.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so they're never going to display it, but they know how you felt about it without actually blocking them or being rude. Yeah. You can make it. It's not a great verification, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, you're the king of bad varies, by the way.
I am the king of bad verification. I have a single profile, Dirk Diggler 81, right?
Okay.
Anyone can go and look at this. I actually ask people to rate me the worst verification they can rate, and I'll post it.
Well, actually, people you've actually met, like not random people. You know.
Dirk Diggler 81. Everybody's literally
we're all googling that.
Everyone's just paused the podcast now and just googling.
Now there aren't very many because I deleted my Dirk Diggler profile. I just had enough of it. I was just happy having our profile, and then I thought I kind of miss it. I do kind of miss it, so I took it back, and then I got a few of our friends to leave me the worst verifications, sort of picking up where I left off, because I used to have a real good collection of terrible verifications, and people used to message me and say, I'm just reading your verifications. Are they for real? Like, do people actually make you based on your verifications? You know.
I love that. It's like reverse psychology, isn't it? It's like they're all going, no, that can't be true. I need to meet this person. It's very clever.
This is good. These verifications, I got more meets during lockdown, COVID.
It's a talking point.
But like we've done that. It was me and another Fabber done that as well. Like we left each other absolutely terrible, very. And now, well, he displayed his and I displayed mine, and mine sounded like something like, "Oh, she turned up all messy, and her breath
smelling like smoking her last meat."
Yes, her breath smelled like smoking her last meat, and it was like something along those lines. Anyway, but the difference between men's experience and women's experience on Fab is like nobody's gonna like. The women are going to look at the man's profile and see the bad varies. Most of them will understand that it's a joke.
Yeah.
Most of them will, take the sense of humour in the right way. Well, I was receiving messages going like, just right, you're a tramp. Just right. Finally, people spoke up about you. And I was like, you don't know me. I never met you. I don't know who you are.
Oh yeah, she got a totally different reception than I did.
I messages like going like, yes, finally people are like, even verifying you the way you deserve. And I was like, I haven't even done anything to you.
And also, I didn't have to show my verification.
I was like, wow, thank you.
That just goes to show, doesn't it, how, I guess, I think women understand the lifestyle a lot more, just generally, than a lot of guys that first go to Fab do. That's really interesting.
Verifications are one of those things. I guess a lot of people on Fab are the same. It's one of those pet hates. It's something that they hate writing. If you're meeting maybe one person a week, it's not a big deal. But if we do a social and there's 200 people at it, well, say half of them are couples, so you're going to be writing, 150 verifications roughly, Yeah, we do a copy paste, but even at that, I'm lost now. I forgot what I was actually going to say. I was
writing verifications.
Yes, writing verifications.
It can be a tedious job. It really can be. And the person, but finding that something out of every time you meet them, especially now we wouldn't verify our friends each time we meet them because that would be quite stupid.
Yeah.
But if there was an event on and everybody who attended, just like as a thank you for attending our event. And at this point in Northern Ireland, people look at somebody, and if they see our very on their profile, they know that this person is not a dickhead, and they will cause no harm.
Yeah.
Most likely, anyway. I'm not saying the guarantee. you find all bad eggs everywhere, but most likely that person is not after causing any harm.
But anyway, I remembered where I was going. I swam around the fishbowl one more time, and I remembered where I was. I was about to say that our verifications, we tend not to write them until the week after we do our events.
Oh, yeah.
We had a couple of experiences in the past where there were people of concern who were watching out for who we verified. And they were messaging people who we had verified and saying, "Oh, I see you were at Hungry Cat event. I was speaking to you there. Do you not remember?"
Okay. Catfishing them.
And so they messaged us and they were like, "Do you know that guy? He messaged me saying he met us at your event, or he met me at your event." And we were like, "He wasn't at our event."
Wow.
So people were watching out for the verifications in a hope of getting started into a conversation with that person.
Yeah.
Based on a verification from us. So we hold back and we sort of drip feed them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of doing them.
We did have one single guy who, this was quite interesting, that he wrote to us and said, "I was at your event on Saturday at Vanilla to Vixen. Please could you leave me verification?" I went, "That's quite interesting, because single guys aren't allowed on the Saturday to Vanilla to Vixen."
Exactly.
Oh, you can always catch them out. Yeah.
That was interesting. But it just shows that you can't take verifications as 100% verification. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're what you want them to be.
Yeah.
But this is where the group chat helps as well. So like any event, so the group chat that we create for any event, or 2 weeks before any event, is completely separate from the one that runs permanently.
Yeah.
So all the newbies who never been to our events as well, they get to know others in a smaller chat. So like it's a smaller circle, so it's easier for them to interact with others and all that. But even seeing people interact in these group chats, you can tell pretty much who's gonna be iffy, who's gonna be dead on, and who's gonna just be like fish in water.
Yeah, you can work people out very, very quickly, and you can even tell who's going to show up and who's not.
Oh, big time!
Okay.
Yeah,
you can pretty much tell who's going to actually turn up to an event and who's not, based on group chats. Yeah,
that's
it's
really
good.
Interesting.
It's actually a really, really good sort of filter, should we call it?
Yeah.
I think over here, I mean, obviously we use Discord for our Vanilla to Vixen, but we're kind of more slowly catching on. Our Discord is now growing at quite a rate, but over here, I think it was Fab Swingers or Swing Hub or Spicy Match, whatever, was your chosen form of adult social media.
Yeah.
But I think the chat, people used to use Kik and everything, but it was very much a one-to-one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And that's kind of has progressed, and we've got parties now that use Telegram, but a lot over here are now switching to Discord, which is really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. But at Liberty Elite, it's pretty much a members club, isn't it? So it's separate from, like, it doesn't matter if you're verified on Fab or whatever. It's a separate membership process. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd imagine.
But when you're running your events, do you still use the Fab method? Do you have like verified people, or is it?
We tend to, I guess over here now, we tend to use Fab as what we would call an initial shop window.
Yeah.
So it's got the profile, and then, like you said, you get to know people much more. And we will always invite people onto Discord. It's getting harder now because Fab, I think, are being very narrow-minded. Fab don't offer the free chats that you can have on Telegram, the free chat that you can have on Discord. They don't offer that service, but they also don't allow you to advertise any links or anything like that.
This is why we created Hungry Cat. We have our own website for selling our tickets. But what we find is we can't we can't put ticket links into private messages.
Yeah.
However, we can put HTTPS hungrycatpromotions.com / upcoming events, and that seems to work for now. Until they catch on to that one.
It's so true. It's almost like Fab haven't caught on to the industry. The industry's moved forward now, and like you said, where everyone's talking between events, but Fab haven't caught up yet with that.
But hey, you can use emojis.
Oh, you can use emojis now. Then finally, you can use emojis.
I
bet you any money there's an aubergine on there.
Fab, you know what? It has served everyone a purpose, and it still serves a purpose. It's still everyone's go-to platform. Everyone always has gripes with it. We have our gripes with it.
Yeah.
We even have our own swinger platform for people who have been to our events, but we still use Fab. It's everyone's sort of everyday.
It's a stepping stone. It is a massive stepping stone for all the newbies, and experienced eyes will see who has good intentions and who doesn't, and sift them through. Yeah. Any organisers, any clubs, anybody with experienced eyes will sift through the complete time wasters and anybody who has any bad intentions very, very easily.
Yeah.
So to me, the way I see Fab, it's serving a really great purpose, because I was listening to your guys' podcast earlier there as well, just like a snippet of it, and the first impressions matter. So if somebody's joining Fab and they can't even be bothered posting a profile picture, come on.
Yeah.
I think it was actually a snippet out of it. We just randomly picked one of your podcasts. I think it was like a 2022 one, right? Yeah. And you were talking about your profile being your shop window. Yeah. We have always said that to people. Your profile is your shop window. Yeah. You got to sell yourself. See, these one-liners will fill in later.
Yeah.
That's an immediate. That's not going to work for you.
And the dick pic with dirty fingernails, hello, is this the effort you're putting in?
Our favourite is the background, when they've got their school kids in the background, and you always think to yourself, nice.
All the family photographs on the wall.
Yeah, exactly. Grandma just in the back of the Fab photo. So, oh dear.
One that got rejected. My photo got rejected with the Titanic, and there was a plaque.
Oh yeah, we went down. Obviously, we live in Belfast, so we went to where Titanic was built one night for a walk, and we took pictures at the waterside. And she obviously had dropped her underwear and stuff. Got her picture taken, leaning over the sort of barriers, looking over the sea. But there was a poster on the railings, and it had a picture of the captain of the Titanic. And they rejected it because there was someone else's face in the picture.
I can't believe you showed Captain Smith your bottom.
Yeah, he's dead. Looks like he's got to care.
Captain Smith is on Fab Swingers.
I absolutely love that. That is awesome.
So then she blurred the face, and it was accepted.
I think another one.
Make this up.
Another thing I always find absolutely baffling is with the single guys photos, where I call the searchers. I call it "Where's Wally?" Where it's a single guy's picture, but you will see a complete woman's arse, and there'll be the guy's thumb in the photo on her arse. and you go, well, what are you advertising? Who is that? What? Why?
I used to reply to those people and be like, "Oh, are you a couple?" And they'd be like, "No, I'm a single guy." I was like, "Do you have tits?"
It is. It's just baffling. It's just baffling, some of the things you come across.
It's very...
My favourite one, and it is my all-time favourite, is the guy who takes a picture of his cock hovering over the toilet bowl.
Oh, don't. That is my pet peeve.
Mrs. N's favourite.
Why would you think that was
points
sexy?
for yellow wee.
Oh.
It's like an advert for Toilet Duck.
Oh. It's seriously. It's like, what is going through your mind? Oh, look, I'm just going for a piss. Let me take a photo of my cock. Somebody will want to shag me.
you know, it's one of those things I think everyone listening to this will agree on.
Except the guys that do take those photos, obviously.
I think we also as well. This was actually quite funny. Was we always say to guys, especially single guys, we'll get lots of single guys messages, and one of our top tips will always be to photograph yourself doing something that you're interested in. So, for instance, if you're interested in music, I don't know, have yourself with, you can still hide your face, but have a pair of headphones on or start. And this guy set up a profile and went, I've set up my profile. Could you just check it for me and see if you think this is good? And he had literally, obviously, taken the music thing and just taken a load of photos with like vinyl with his hands on his vinyl record. And it was like his top 20 hits, just with different hand photos. And I was like, you've probably taken that to the extreme.
Oh my God. Now, if that said man would have done like a wee naked pose and like covered his bits with vinyl.
Yeah,
exactly.
That would be quite an interesting and funny photo. Not funny, but would be like attractive photo.
Yeah.
I mean,
he the pose and the angles and all that.
He could have put one of the vinyls in between his butt cheeks. That could have been quite an
would have
interesting.
worked.
Yes,
that would have worked.
absolutely.
No, this looks more this looked more like an HMV advert.
Yeah. I think you held a bottle of vodka between your butt cheeks one time.
I did.
Yeah.
Wow.
I did.
That's a talent.
It was near empty bottle of vodka, but it held up right.
That shows strong butt cheeks.
Oh, he does.
It's like the butt equivalent of the pencil test on the tits, you know?
Yeah. All I'm thinking is, I'm so glad we haven't got a bottle of vodka at home. I'm not trying that one later, dear. I'm sorry.
We'll send you the picture.
I shall look forward to that. Honestly, you guys, your outlook on life and everything is just brilliant.
It's the best.
It is, and
Absolute
it's infectious
best.
as well. It's absolutely infectious.
We're just here for a good time. We're not a long time.
Yeah, exactly. So, what have you got plans then for the future of where you want the socials to go? Have you got bigger plans past the socials? What are you thinking?
We have actually been working the last 3 years on our own, as I said earlier, platform for swingers. It's more of a community-based platform and not just a sort of adult friend finder meet for sex kind of platform.
Yeah.
Because the amount of guys that message us, and whenever they're rejected for whatever reason, they then say it's a sex site, and you're, well, actually no, it's not a sex site.
Yeah.
It's a smoker site.
The giveaway's in the title.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and we wanted to create a platform that was more community based, where there was a level of trust between all the people using it.
Yeah.
And so far, okay, it's not busy. There's maybe 5 people post a day. That's fine for us. We don't mind because we're still building it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is the name of this? This
It's
Swingable.me.
yeah, swingable.me.
Swingable.me.
So
Yes.
www.swingable.me. And
And the question is, how swingable are you?
yeah.
Oh, that's good.
I like that.
That's good. That's sexy. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
And it is, as I say, very community based. It's very small. It works basically the same way that any other platform, web-based platform, would work. We kind of toyed with the idea of doing an app, but
And the app will come out eventually. We just want to get the website itself right. Now, we chose not to go for any templates, for any like pre-existing websites. So all the code has been written for us from scratch.
hence why it's taken 3 years.
Yes.
Brilliant. That's brilliant.
It's still full of bugs, but like we just wanted to have full control of the site itself. So like if we want to eventually expand it, we will expand it. So we're not limited to a template, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So this is why we're just doing it right from the start.
And this would
No,
work. This would work for
it's-
anyone
it's
on mainland or anywhere.
Yeah, it'll work for anyone. But the thing is, we wanted consent to be brought into it a lot more. We find when, I love using cams. We both love using cams. And we'll sit on chat rooms there on Fab for like a whole Saturday night, and the drunker we get, the more fun it gets. And I think a lot of people are the same, but you can't control who's watching you unless you block them, obviously. But you can't really control who's seeing your feed, and that's one of the things that we have. Where if you want to view someone's feed, you click View Feed, and that will send that particular user a request, and they can either deny it or accept it. Another thing we did away with was verifications, because personally we don't like writing verifications.
Yeah.
So we have a met in real life button. So if you go to someone's profile, you can click met in real life. They then get a request saying, this user saying they met you. Have you met them? Yes or no? If you say yes, then it's a mutual meet, and it shows up on both profiles.
Yeah.
If it's a no, then it's a no. You can also follow people, so they'll appear first on your news feed. There is blogs. There was forums, but we didn't like the layout of the forums, so we deleted the forums for now. We've got blogs instead.
Yeah.
What else have we got? We've got as I say,
you can like and comment pictures.
Yeah, just like Facebook, you can like and comment on pictures. Yeah, so if someone puts a picture on a news feed, you can comment on it, and they can see who commented on it, and they can also see who liked it. So it's kind of it's more like Facebook than what Fab would be, because yes, you can see who liked your stuff or who fabbed your stuff, but you can't leave comments on it.
Yeah.
And the same thing with the blogs as well. Somebody posts something in their blog, you can comment and like it. As well, rather than.
We're by no means trying to compete with Fab or anyone else. We just want to build our little Northern Ireland. Well,
I think that's amazing. I think that's amazing.
Maybe someday UK community, it's, and here's the thing too. People have to face verify to get onto it, and that's not because it's not just because we want you to prove that you're a real person and you're not there for ill purposes. It's for age verification too. A lot of these sites that people get onto, there's a couple of sites we've seen horror stories with kids being able to access sites and sign up for sites. We have, as part of our privacy policy, and because we're now registered as an adult business, we have to make sure that no one using that platform is underage.
Yeah.
So by people giving us their photograph, we can visually look and go, you look a bit young.
Well, we work by Challenge 25 rules.
Challenge
so anybody
25,
who looks younger than 25, we will ask them for ID, unless we personally already know them.
Yeah. And if they're a genuine person and they're there for good intentions, there's no reason why they wouldn't share that information with you.
Exactly.
That's really good. That's really good, guys.
Yeah.
We would absolutely love, who knows, one day for your community to come over. Obviously, we've got festivals next year and stuff planned. On August the 1st, we've got V2V Wonderland Festival and stuff. If you ever fancy bringing your stuff over and promoting it over here, we would absolutely love that.
Oh, definitely.
You would always be welcome.
And maybe someday we'll even turn up at Liberty Elite. I'd love to do that. I remember seeing the documentary several years ago, and I thought that's class.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, you guys are welcome to come to any of our social at any time as well.
We'd love that.
And experience the Belfast scene.
Oh, absolutely.
My great granddad was from Belfast, so for years and years I did my family tree, and our family I'm not going to say my family name, but it was a Welsh name. And I nearly said it then.
Did.
Thinking. But then I was so surprised that with such a traditional Welsh name, that it was actually all from Northern Ireland. And so, that was really interesting. So I promise one day to go over to my, heritage and find out more.
I would love to go to it. I've never visited Ireland, and I would love to go. Absolutely love to go.
Oh, you should. You should.
Honestly, having now heard the sort of things you guys get up to at your socials, I just think we would have the best time ever.
Oh, you would have great fun, and the people here are just lovely. They're very welcoming, they're open. You would.
We're just about out of time, guys, but thank you so much for
It's been an absolute pleasure.
It really has, and I honestly mean this. It's been one of the most special shows we've done.
Yeah,
I think
it has, absolutely.
with your
guys,
inspiration. And
you are totally, and beautiful, and what you're doing for the community is just brilliant.
And I think we're all guilty of. I just want to finish off with this one thing that I think we're all guilty when we take photos for our profiles and stuff. Us, we go, oh no, I hate that photo, I'm deleting it, and all this, that, and the other. And we sit there moaning over like my wrinkles and my creases and my fat rolls. And you know what? You really have inspired me today to go, what the fuck? Forget it. It's not important.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
Yeah, it is very important to save a memory of the best side of yourself, because you'll be able to look back and be like, oh my God, I was fucking hot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, like, to document the side of yourself.
Well, she
like,
still
you
looks
know.
back at things and goes, oh my God, that was only 4 years ago.
How hot was
Side of my own leg.
how hot was I at lunchtime? Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah.
You're just absolutely
It was-
wonderful.
We have
It was a
absolutely
real pleasure talking to you both.
loved spending time getting to know you. I'm hoping this is a friendship now that's going to blossom
Yeah.
for many
We shall
a year.
definitely talk more. Hopefully this isn't the last podcast.
Absolutely.
Definitely not.
Absolutely. If there is anybody out there that would like to sort of get in contact with you guys, what's the best way they can get hold of you?
Hungry Cat.
Just Hungry Cat on Fab or www.hungrycatpromotions.com. There's a contacts form they can fill in.
Brilliant.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much, guys. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Take
Thank
Thank you very much.
You have a good night. Bye.
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 This week, I mostly be hanging around in public toilets.